request if Cavalier Prabhu is here, like, like do the Mangala, the prayers.
जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शिष्य देवांगे श्री श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामा कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरापुरी वृंदावन धाम की जय। गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। श्याम वेद भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे
हरि हरि।
All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Hari Hari Bol. You want me to read the shloka, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, 3 times.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Today we are reading Canto 1, Chapter 15 and text number 49. Viduropi parityajya prabhase deham atmanah Krishna veshena tacchittah pitrabhihi swakshayam yayo. Viduropi parityajya prabhase deham atmanah Krishna veshena tacchittah pitrabhihi swakshayam yayo. Vidaropi parityajya prabhase dehamatmanah Krishna veshena tacchittah pitrabhihi swakshayam yayo. Please recite.
Viduropi parityajya prabhase deham atmana Krishna veshena tacchitta pitrubhihi swakshayam yayo.
Viduropi Parityajya Prabhasastehamatmana Krishna Veshena Tacchitta Pitrubhi Swakshayam Yayo. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Viduro api parityajya prabhase deham atmanaha Krishna veshena tacchittaha putribihi swashayam yayo.
Viduropi parityajya prabhase dehamatmana Krishna veshena tacchitta pitribhi swakshayam yayo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Viduropi parityajya prabhase dehamatmanah Krishna vesena tacchittah pitrubhihi swakshayam yayo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Viduropi parityajya prabhase deha matmanah Krishna veshena tacchitta pitrubhi swakshayam yayo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else would like to say?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Viduropi parityajya prabhase dehamatmanah कृष्णावेशेन तच्चित्त पितृभिः स्वक्षयं ययौ।
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
विदुरोऽपि परित्याय प्रभासे देहम् आत्मनः कृष्णावेशेन तच्चित्ता पितृभिः स्वाकस्यं ययो। हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू।
Hare Krishna. All right. So now I'll recite. Viduropi paritajya prabhase deham atmana Krishna vashena tapchittaha pitrabhi swakshayam yayau. Synonyms: Vidura, Vidura, the uncle of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Api, also. Paritajya, after quitting the body. Prabhase, in the place of pilgrimage at Prabhasa. Deham Atmana, his body. Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Avashenha, being absorbed in that thought. Tat is chitta, thoughts and actions. Pitrabhi, along with the residents of Pitraloka. Swakshayam, his own abode. Yayau, departed. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaran Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vidura, while on pilgrimage, left his body at Prabhasa because he was absorbed in thought of Krishna. He was received by the denizens of Pitraloka planet. He returned to his original post. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The difference between Pandavas and Vidura is that the Pandavas are eternal associates of the Lord, the personality of Godhead. Whereas Vidura is one of the administrative demigods in charge of the Pitraloka planet and is known as Yamaraj. Men are afraid of Yamaraj because it is he only who awards punishment to the miscreants of the material world. But those who are devotees of the Lord have nothing to fear from him. To the devotees, he is a cordial friend. But the non-devotees, he is fear personified. As we have already discussed, it is understood that Yamaraj was cursed by Manduka Muni to be degraded as Shudra, and therefore Vidura was an incarnation of Yamaraj. As an eternal servitor of the Lord, he displayed his devotional activities very ardently and lived a life of a pious man. So much so that a materialistic man like Dhritarashtra also got salvation by his instruction. So by his pious activity in the devotional service of the Lord, he was able to always remember the lotus feet of the Lord. And thus he became washed of all contamination of a Shudra-born life. At the end, he was again received by denizens of Pitraloka and posted in his original position. The demigods are also associates of the Lord without personal touch. Whereas the direct associates of the Lord are in constant personal touch with him. The Lord and his personal associates incarnate in many universes without cessation. The Lord remembers them all, whereas the associates forget due to their being very minute part and parcel of the Lord. They are apt to forget such incidents due to being infinitesimal. This is corroborated in the Bhagavad Gita 4.5. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Parishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarne Om Ajnana Timiradasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadikam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajim Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parajana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lita Shri Vishakha Nimitam Sacha. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपीकांत राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वांछा कल्पतरुभश्च कृपा सिंधुवेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। क्षणवतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्य श्रवण कीर्तन हृदयन्तस्तु भद्राणि विनोति स्वसं नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेव्य भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नष्टकी। हरे कृष्ण। So one more time the verse viduro api parityajya prabhase dehamatmana krishna avashena tapchittah mitrabhi swaksham yayau. So this is in chapter 15 canto 1, and here Suta Goswami is explaining that viduropi means here vidura also. If you see this word here viduropi, api means also. So except then vidura, Lord Krishna also left the planet in the same area called Prabhat Kshetra. This is near Dwarka, where we have like present day Dwarka. This is the like area where nearby there, where Lord Krishna actually left this material world and go back to the Goloka Vrindavan. So there, now here Vidura also visiting. So this is Vidura visiting various holy places, and ultimately he went to the Prabhat Kshetra and he remembered Krishna there. And after remembering Krishna, he left the body there, and he went back to his own abode. So here he says that Viduro api, while on pilgrimage, left his body as Prabhas Kshetra, the area of the Prabhasa. Because in Srimad Bhagavatam, like it is mentioned that Krishne Swadhamo Pagate Dharma Gyana Divisaha Kalau Nashta Dashamesha Purana Kudhudita. So Srimad Bhagavatam is mentioned that Krishna left this material world, and along with Dharma and Jnana also left. And at the same time, this Srimad Bhagavatam appeared, which actually carries all the essence of Dharma and Jnana. So in the same area that Vidura also left his body. And the other point where is mentioned is that he was concentrating on the pastimes of and thinking about Krishna. Here he says chittaha, tat chittaha. Chitta is basically, I Prabhupada translate as thoughts and actions. Means completely absorbed in all the thoughts and actions into the pastimes of Lord Krishna. We see like in the same canto, Bhishma Pitama, in the 9th chapter, we see that how Bhishma Pitama left his body. Because Bhishma Pitama, we know after the war of Mahabharata, Bhishma Pitama was basically down by the arrows. His body was pierced by the arrows of Arjuna, and his body was completely drained out. All the blood was drained out, and he was just holding his breath to see the beautiful face of Lord Krishna. So eventually, Lord Krishna and all the Pandavas, they visited in the Kurukshetra to Bhishma Pitama, and Bhishma Pitama, by offering prayer to Lord Krishna and by focusing his thoughts and deeds, his thoughts and actions completely on the lotus face of Krishna, left the body. That is the achievement of this human life. Srila Prabhupada mentioned that the achievement of the human life is that to live happily in this material world and at the end go back home, back to Godhead. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says yam yam vapisman bhavam tajjantyanta kalebram tam tam eviti konteya sadatad bhav bhavitha. Whatever state of mind a person has at the time of leaving his body, he will reach to that stage without a doubt. That was 8.6 in chapter 8, verse number 6. And before that, Krishna says that Antakale cha mameva smaran muktava kalevram ya priyati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshaya. Krishna says that at anyone who think of me at the time of leaving this body, he will reach to me without a doubt. So here we see example here. We see example of Bhishma Pitama, like in the 9th chapter, where he completely dedicated his thoughts and mind and his actions at the lotus face of Krishna, and he always saw Krishna as the Radha Parthasarthi form. Like he was chariot driver of Arjuna, because he was concentrating the whole battlefield. He was concentrating on this beautiful feature of Lord Krishna as Parthasarthi form. Similarly, here Vidura also focused on Krishna, and by focusing on Krishna, he achieved that Krishna prema. He achieved that stage of Krishna prema. But one thing, what is mentioned here is that rather than going to the Golok Vrindavan, going to the spiritual world, he went back to his own planet. So here it's mentioned that Vidura was a demigod. Vidura was a demigod and Yamraj. And so he was Yamraj, and he got this form of Vidura. He incarnate as Vidura because of a curse given by Manduka Muni. I think we already discussed that in 13th chapter, that how Manduka Muni cursed him. So I just revised for some of the devotees who don't know about that past time. Is that one time there was some thieves. They stole some valuable things, money and gold and all, and they were and all the like soldiers, they were behind those thieves, and they were running here and there. They were trying to find a place to hide the stolen this money and the gold. So suddenly they came to this hermitage of Manduka Muni, and they brought that valuable things and they hide it into his ashrama, and they left. And then ultimately they got caught by the soldiers, but they were looking for that valuable money and they couldn't find with those thieves. So they ultimately came to the ashrama and they saw that all the valuable things were there, and they thought that this sage Manduka is also along with these thieves doing this stealing. So they caught hold of Manduka Muni also, and they brought both of them, the thieves and the Manduka Muni, in front of the magistrate, the local magistrate. So the local magistrate, without really understanding the whole scenario, he just passed the order and he said, just give them punishment. And he gave a punishment to Manduka Muni that he should be pierced by the lance. So there, while the execution was going on, suddenly somebody told the king that they are punishing a sage, great sage Manduka Muni. So that king came to that place, and he thought oh, this is a wrong thing that we are punishing a sage, because the Brahmanas and sages should not be punished by the administrators. So they actually he asked for forgiveness and he left the Manduka Muni not to give the punishment. So later Manduka Muni went to the Yamraj, and then he asked why he was giving this kind of punishment, why he was basically giving this kind of punishment that his body will be pierced by the lance. So then Yamraj said that when you are a child, when you're a small child, you actually pierce the body of an ant with this with needle, a small needle. And because of that, without that action, that pain that you give to that ant, that pain you have to go through. Then Manduka Muni says that, what kind of judgment is this? Are you crazy that you are giving this judgment when I did this activity? I was a child. I was an innocent child. I don't know what is right, what is wrong. And how can you punish me for that action that is done when you are a child and give me this punishment now? You are not a good judge. You don't know what is dharma. So he cursed him. Because you don't know what is dharma, you become a Shudra. And because of that, this Yamraj has to come as a Shudra. And he took birth in the family of, in the family of a maid servant, Dasi, who is the Dasi of, in this Kuru dynasty. And she gave birth to the to Vidura, who actually become the brother of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. So that small offense, the small action that Manduka Muni did in his childhood, because of that Yamraj gave him the punishment. And then because he said that because you give the punishment for the action that he did while he was child, that was wrong, and he got cursed. So we can see from that perspective, that past time, that every action what we are doing in our life, there is going to be some reaction. Whatever action, the karma, whatever we perform, generate a reaction. And when that reaction will come, that will be decided by the higher authorities. We cannot say like, okay, some people are doing some bad thing in this life, and they think that, well, everything is going good with me right now, so everything is okay, God is with me. Many people think that, like whatever I'm doing, if I'm not getting immediate punishment, I'm okay, because I am being favored by the Lord, because I am not getting any punishment, so I am okay, so there is nothing for me. But this law of karma is so minute. It works at both macro and micro level, that sometimes you will get an immediate reaction, sometimes will get a long-term reaction. The phala or the result of these activities are very minute, and nobody can understand. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, this karma, vikarma, and akarma is so complex that nobody can really understand that how this thing works. So then what should we do? We should not try to find it out, like, oh, whether this karma is good, that karma is good. Try to not to do any vikarma. Try not to do any karma also. Try to do only akarma, or the activities which are in devotional service, devotional life. So try to do all the actions which are basically related to bhakti. So this particular minute incident, it actually always strike me. A small child is just hitting an ant with a small needle, have an effect in his next life, just to make him like pierced by the lens. So generally, if you see in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, actually before the 6th canto, at the end of the 5th canto, so while Sukadeva Goswami explaining the whole planetary system, at the end of the 5th canto, Sukadeva Goswami explained about hellish planets, Naraklokas. So he was explaining all these different hellish planets, where different kind of punishments are given to the conditioned souls who have committed great sinful activities. So then when Parishit Maharaj heard the pain and the agony and the crying they were going through in these hellish planets, his heart melted as a Vaishnava. His heart melted. He was thinking, what can we do to so that these souls will not get suffering in the hellish planets? So he asked this question to Sukadeva Goswami, my Guru Maharaj, please tell a method through which all these suffering souls who are in hellish planet, that they don't need to go to hell to suffer. Is there a way, is there a method through which the conditioned soul don't need to go to hell? Is there a method? Is there a method that which no living entity should go to hell and don't suffer? So at that time, Sukadeva Goswami explained, he said that whatever action we have done in this life, the best way to do atonement for those life or those actions. Suppose if somebody have done some bad karma or some impious activities, so you have time till end of this life to atone for that karma. if you do not atone in this life all your sinful activities, in the next life you will get higher punishments. Principle is that, say, suppose if you take a $10 from a person, if you take a $10 from a person, and it is your duty to return $10 to that person. If you don't return immediately that $10, every moment you are taking that money from that person is going to add more and more interest on that person. Say you borrow money from a bank or from anyone, there's an interest you have to pay. You really can take, say today you take $10, and if you're returning a person after 2 years, you just cannot return $10. You have to return $10 plus the interest, kind of like that. This is a general principle here. Similarly, if you done some wrong activity, you offend someone, or you actually like perform some impious activities, so you should immediately atone that immediately. The longer you will wait, the punishment become more higher. Similarly, say like another example is, if you develop a disease, you immediately cure that disease. If you don't cure the disease immediately, what happens? The disease will become stronger and stronger and stronger, and then become incurable. Cavalier Prabhu can actually explain. He's a doctor. He knows that once a disease built in the body, if you don't immediately, the faster you will discover the disease and cure that disease, then you have a chance to recover more faster. But if you left the disease longer, the disease will become stronger and stronger, and then ultimately it might take your life also. Similarly, these sinful activities are so strong that if you don't immediately recover from those sinful activities or offenses, they will become stronger and stronger and stronger. Ultimately, the result will become multifold. So Sukdev Goswami said that if somebody perform any activity in this life, any sinful activity in this life, and they do not atone for those sinful activities, then those activities will become higher and higher in the next life, and they have to punish. They will get punishment for those activities very severely. So then, what is the atonement process? So then, Sukdev Goswami, because Parikshit Maharaj was very much interested to free all this conditioned soul from sinful reaction. So then, what is the atonement process? The first process that Sukdev Goswami recommend is to do some atonement activities which are mentioned in Vedas, like karma, another type of karma. You do one karma and you generate some result of that. Now to neutralize that result, you need to do another karma. So he mentioned there in the Shastra and the Veda, there are different kind of activities that you have to perform to actually get rid of those sinful activities. But Parishit Maharaj, he was very clever. He said that, but my dear Guru Maharaj, you are giving me a method that to come out from the karma, you have to do another karma. Means that another karma will again you develop attachment to the karma. When you do another karma, you will basically try to do another karma. Say, for example, he compared that with the elephant bath. So when an elephant actually goes to the river, I don't know how many of you have seen that elephant taking bath, but in my childhood I used to go to river Yamuna in my hometown Delhi, and in river Yamuna I see that elephant, they go to in the water and they were just splashing water and they were enjoying and all. But when they come out from the water, what they do, very first thing they do is they take the sand which is there on the Yamuna back and they put it on their body again. So then Parishit Maharaj rejected that idea. See, this kind of atonement is waste. How can you this atonement, if a person is doing atonement to get rid of the karma or the actions of those previous karmas, now he's performing another karma. So there's no use, because he's again engaging in karma. This method, I don't like it, is going to be coming out. So then Sukdev Goswami became very happy with him. You are a clever disciple, because you really find it out that this is not going to work completely. You can get rid of those karmas, but because your another karma is basically making your tendency to do karma more is already there. Now, the second method that Sukdev Goswami explained to Maharaj Parikshit is Gyan Marg, so that you should understand what is right, what is wrong, and with that you should do your activities. But in Gyan Marg, there's a very difficult point is that how to keep all the time conscious of that thing. Many times we, as I say for myself also, since I came to Krishna consciousness, every day I'm hearing that I am not the body, I am the soul. I am not the body, I am the soul. But many times I forget. I always act on a bodily platform. When the things come, I forget that I am the soul. And I act on a bodily platform. Because this jnana will not hold to me or to the many people that strong, and because it slips away when the things come. So that's why Parikshit Maharaj say that this jnana is very good, my Guru Maharaj, but it will not stay. It will not stay. It will go very fast. But Parikshit, then the Sukhdev Goswami say, no, there are different methods which you can actually keep. You can actually keep the jnana in with you so that you don't act wrongly. But that method of what he explained is very, very difficult to do in the Kali Yuga. He mentioned many methods, Shama, Dama, Tapa, like Socha, so many methods he mentioned, which is called Gyan Marg, like activities, processes. But Parikshit Maharaj said that it is very difficult to do this. Please give me some method which is easier, so that we can get rid of these sinful activities. Then he explained that the best method and the easiest method to come out from these sinful activities and ultimately achieve the favor of the Lord is bhakti, through chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So then he says, he gives the example that this bhakti process works like this. Like we don't see, like in the morning time, we see fog. Here in the US, we see not much fog. Like sometimes we see, not all the time. But in India, it's very common. You see, like in the morning time, they have a lot of fog, thick fog. So thick fog is basically very near to the earth surface. It's not in the high in the sky. It is near to the earth surface, and it's basically like covers the surface of the earth. So the fog becomes so thick that you can't even see. It's so the sky you cannot see, and even nearby things you cannot see. But what is the solution? How to remove that fog is by when the sun rises. As soon as the sun rises in the sky, the whole fog completely disappear, and not even disappear, it doesn't come back. That fog, once sun rises, all the fog get disappeared, and there is no chance of his coming back. So that method, Sukhdev Goswami says, best method is to perform devotional service by chanting the holy name of the Lord. A person not even can get rid of the previous sinful activities, but even in the future also he will not commit sinful activities. He can get rid of all this, and he gave that example of Ajamila, that how Ajamila get rid of all the sinful activities by chanting the holy name of the Lord Narayan. So that was the part here. So here, like we see, like if because Manduka Muni, he did a small activity, small action, because of that he is getting punishment. But that punishment was not really justified. So that's why this Vidura, even his Dharmaraj, he's a post of Dharmaraj, he got curse from Manduka Muni and become a Shudra. The another point Srila Prabhupada mentioned is here in the purport is the difference between Vidura and Pandavas. The Pandavas, they were all eternal associates of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that whenever Lord Krishna comes, or whenever any incarnation of the Lord comes in the material world, to assist the Lord, to help the Lord, his own personal associates come directly from the Golok Vrindavan and from the spiritual world to assist in his pastimes. So here, the Pandavas, they are eternal associates of the Lord. So eternal associates of the Lord, they're always in constant touch with the Lord. And the other side, we have Vidura, who is also a pure devotee. He's a pure devotee, but he's an administrative demigod. He's in charge of the Pitru Loka planet, which is basically the job of Yamraj, is to punish the conditioned living entity who are committing sinful activities in this material world. So after they give up the body, they go to Yamraj, and Yamraj give punishment to them. So the difference between the Vidura and the Pandavas, Srila Prabhupada explained that Pandavas are in constant touch with the Lord. And Vidura, being a Yamaraj, they are basically they are not in personal touch of the Lord, but they are always remembering the Lord. So if you see again, I'm going back to the past times in the 6th canto. So when all the Yamadutas, the messengers of Yamaraj, they came to take Ajamila at the end of his life, but Vishnudutas, the messenger of Lord Vishnu, did not allow these Yamadutas to take Ajamila because he chanted the name of Narayan at the time of leaving the body. Again, what I explained in the beginning, like 8.5, Bhagavad Gita 8.5, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktava kalevaram. So Antakal, at the time of leaving the body, Ajamila chanted the name of Lord Narayan. Because of that, Lord Narayan protected him by sending his messenger. So these Yamadutas could not take the Ajamila back to Yamaraj. And when they came back to Yamaraj, and they were basically asking Yamaraj that there are 4 personalities came and they stopped us to bring Ajamila to you. Who are they? Who are they? And how come they are interfering your judgment? They are interfering in your, because we think that this material world, we think that this earthly planet, all the human beings are under your control. Because in reality, Yamaraj is the controller of all the living entities to give them punishment according to their sinful activities. So he's a judge. He's a judge. So all the messengers, they thought that Yamaraj is the supreme God. He's a supreme judge. And how come these four people came from somewhere and they stopped us bringing this Ajamila to you? Who are they and from where they came? So then Yamaraj asked them, okay, how they look like, what they were doing, what they were talking about. Then they say, my Lord, when we were taking Ajamila out from his body, at that time he chanted Narayan. And as soon as he chanted Narayan, suddenly 4 people appeared. They were 4 armed. They were having club and mace and lotus flower and Sudarshan Chakra in their hand. And they stopped us bringing to you. And they were explaining how they were beautifully, like they were very beautiful gentlemen and they were so nicely decorated and all. As soon as they explained this, you know what Yamaraj did? He actually started meditating on the form of Lord Vishnu. He said, oh my God, my sons, my child, you are very, very, very fortunate because you got darshan of direct messenger of Lord Vishnu. Your life is successful now because you saw directly the messenger of Lord Vishnu. They look same as Lord Vishnu. So then Yamaraj actually meditated on Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, and he actually asked for forgiveness. My dear Lord, my messengers, my subordinates, they have done a great crime that we are trying to bring the Ajamila back to me. Because Ajamila chanted the name of Narayan, he is no longer a sinful person. He's a Mahatma. He's a devotee of the Lord now. So that's why at that time, Yamaraj actually begged to Lord for forgiveness. And at that time, he instructed his disciple, his subordinates and his messenger that don't go to any place where there is a devotee of Lord Vishnu. Don't go there. They are out of my jurisdiction. I have no control on them. They are not in my control. They are directly in the control of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. So don't go there. That's why here, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that these devote Yamraj only controls the people who are the sinful people. While the devotees, they are not under the control of Yamraj. Yamraj actually, we don't need to fear from Yamraj. Here, Shilpa mentioned here somewhere that we don't need to fear from Yamraj. Rather, Yamraj is a cordial friend here. But those who are devotee of the Lord have nothing to fear from him. To the devotees, he is a cordial friend. But to non-devotees, he is fear personified. So people who are not devotees, they have to scare from Yamaraj. But people who are devotees, because Yamaraj is none other, as we say, Yamaraj is not a conditioned soul. He's a pure devotee of Krishna, and he's serving Lord Krishna by taking charge of the Pitriloka planet. So, and we also know, like in the same pastime in the 6th canto, Yamaraj told all his disciples, all his followers, that there are not even me, there are 12 Mahajans total. We are 12 people who know the whole Bhagavad Dharma. And he said one of them is me. So at that time, he actually explained these are 12 great personalities who actually know about the Bhagavad Dharma and know about Krishna. So that's another point. One more last point I would like to explain here is what Srila Prabhupada mentioned, that when Vidura left the body and he went back home, he went back to his own planet, Pittaloka. So one thing we need to we see in the Srimad Bhagavatam, many places mentioned that whenever we leave the body, whenever we leave the body, we generally don't go by ourselves. No. So whenever we leave the body, whichever planet we are going, whether we are going to Golok Vrindavan, whether we are going to Vaikuntha planet, whether we are going to Brahmaloka or Swargaloka, wherever any living entity go, the carriers or whatever say, the residents of those planets, they comes and takes us from here. We see here like the in charge of the Pittiloka planet, they came and they bring their plane from the Yamloka and they took Vidura with them. So depend upon where we are concentrating at the time of leaving our body. If we are concentrating on Krishna, for beautiful form of Krishna, we'll go to Golok Vrindavan. We see in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, when Krishna killed the Putana. When Krishna killed the Putana, so what happened? So a plane come directly from Golok Vrindavan and took the Putana and put the position of Dhatri, the mothers of Krishna, into the Golok Vrindavan, assisting Yashoda Maiya. Similarly, we see in the 4th canto, when Dhruva Maharaj time came to leave the body, so then Kala, death personified, came in front of Dhruva Maharaj and said that now it's time for you to leave the body to go to Dhruva planet. But Dhruva Maharaj said, no, I'm not going to leave my body. He put his feet on the head of Kala and then he climbed the plane, and that plane he was going to the Dhruva planet. And then he saw that his mother is left behind. And he thought of his mother. He thought of his mother, that my mother actually took care of me and she is my guru because she showed me the way to Lord Narayan. And he was thinking about that how can I deliver my mother? Because devotees are not caring about their own deliverance. They are caring about the other people, their parents and their other devotees. So when he was thinking about his mother, what about my mother? Is she going to live here and I'm going to go to the Dhruva planet? And then he saw, on the plane, they saw that, they told, like, see the other plane, your mother is also going there. So there is another plane was there where Dhruva Maharaj's mother is also going there. And we see again another pastime of this Gajendra. So when Gajendra left the body, Lord Vishnu, Lord Hari took Gajendra back on the back of, took back Vaikuntha planet on the back of Garuda. He went along with the Lord, actually. So these are the different things like that mentioned, Srila was mentioned in the purport, which gives us so much of confidence that while we are performing devotional life, we don't need to worry about anything, because Yamraj is our friend. Yamraj is not going to bother us, so we don't need to worry about Yamraj. And the devotees who are chanting Hare Krishna, like Yamraj is not even going to come into the dream of the devotees. They are very much protected from that. And also, like, whatever we think at the last stage of mind, like when we leave the body, we'll go that stage without a doubt. And Vidura is basically, as we see, that how the great devotee leave their body. Like Vidura's went to Prabhas Kshetra. Generally, like it's in a Vedic system, it is recommended that once we finish our Grastha life and we come to Vanaprastha life. So Vanaprastha life is basically life of austerity. We perform a lot of austerity. So Srila Prabhupada many places recommended in his purports that during the Vanaprastha life we should leave our home, go to some holy dham like Vrindavan, Mayapur, or your local temple, wherever you are. Go there and stay there and serve the Lord, so that we can constantly focus our mind on Krishna. Because it is very difficult sometime in the family life, to focus our mind on Krishna, because there are so many activities going on in the family here and there, and in a family there are so many materialistic things are there which we become attached. So our Vedic our Shastra recommend that when we are ready to leave our body, it is recommended to leave your house, go to a holy dham, and try to concentrate full on focus on Krishna, so that we don't give a chance, because this human life is very important. We don't want to risk our chance of again staying back in the material world. We want to give our full 100% focus, so that in this lifetime we can go back home, back to Godhead. And this Vidura is basically, again, what Prabhupada mentioned is that he was going on a pilgrimage, and ultimately he went to Prabhas Kshetra, where he remembered Krishna's all the pastimes and all, and then he left the body, and then he went back to his own position. So these are some few points from this report. Let me stop here and see if anyone have any comment or question. Or any reflections, or if I have said anything correct, then please correct me if there is anything wrong.
Hare Krishna. If anybody has any questions or comments, please just unmute yourself, or you can even raise your hand. Prabhu, I don't know if you had mentioned this or not, but I was wondering, I've heard that Yamaraj was saying, I don't know if this is a bona fide pastime, so if you can just please clarify that. Yamaraj is always giving punishment and, taking care of people's accounts like that when they leave their bodies and go to Pitraloka. And so he said, I'm always doing that. I never get a chance to glorify the Lord. And so in this way, in taking in coming down as Vidura, he was able to do that. Is that a bona fide?
I don't know. I haven't read from Prabhupada's purport in Srimad Bhagavatam. I haven't, maybe somebody might have, but until us, it's I'm not sure that it is being recommended. It's been given by some acharyas or some or from Prabhupada. I can't really say that's the reason, because here Prabhupada give the reason that because he got cursed, so that's why he came. So I don't know if there is any other reason that he might have something. It might be somewhere, but I haven't gone through that nothing.
Yeah, I mean, this one, yes, he got cursed and this is how he came. But it was also his desire that he wanted to glorify.
Yes.
And so as Vidura, all he did was glorify and always take the path of Dharma. So I just wanted to see if it was bona fide or not.
Yeah, like this is devotees' desires are always there. Devotees, they always want to glorify Krishna, but like sometimes they are busy. We have any administrative task or any kind of other task. Definitely what we are doing is basically takes some time our focus from Krishna, but ultimately it is hankering, like devotees always hankering to remember Krishna, or devotees are always Krishna directly. So it might be there, but I haven't gone through much, so I cannot really confirm. Maybe some other devotee, if they have gone through, they can confirm.
Mother Vrindavaneshwari raised her hand.
Hare Krishna, Ramcharan Prabhu. Very nice class. It's so interesting that I logged on to today's class because I was thinking about some of these things this morning, and I really appreciated what you were saying about addressing karma and what we build up, and it might not be addressed right away. We might think we're okay, like, oh, we've gotten away with it, but then it might hit us some other way and some other time. And so I was just appreciating those comments, and just, how do we not use chanting as a way to kind of bypass any wrongdoings that we might be doing in life, like, to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name.
So I didn't get the last line what you said. Maybe can you repeat it in the last line what you said?
So they're in the 10 offenses is to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name.
Yes.
So in how are we to understand that we should chant, that is kind of our atonement, but that we shouldn't use that as a means of getting away with things?
Yeah. So so generally, as you rightly mentioned, that one of the offense is basically using the holy name to get rid of karma and then committing sinful activities again, So what my understanding is that, like, knowingly or unknowingly, we commit sinful activities, right? Sometime, like, before coming to Krishna consciousness, I was committing, like, I'm talking about myself, I was committing sinful activities, knowingly and unknowingly, but I was not really seeing the result of those activities, that what result I can get. But after coming to Krishna consciousness, uh, Srila Prabhupada given these 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. These are the root cause of our sinful activities. These are called like great sinful activities. So one time somebody asked this question, that why these are just only 4 principles, because other than that there are many other sinful activities we are performing. So how come we are not counting that? But Srila Prabhupada says that these 4 activities, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex, these are the root of all the sinful activities. So along with chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we should seriously follow these 4 principles. If we are very serious about following these 4 regulative principles, this will reduce our sinful activities. And holy name will basically take care of the rest of the sinful activities very easily. And we will not come back and committing again and again same activity. So when we follow these 4 regulative principles seriously, with with real intention that I want to get rid of this, and I want to follow this principle very seriously, then I have seen that slowly your inclination towards sinful activity will reduce. It will not disappear within a day. Krishna consciousness is not an abrupt process. My understanding is not an abrupt, it's a gradual process. Prabhupada many times mentioned in his purport, it's a gradual process. It will not happen overnight that, okay, I start chanting, now I'm going to become pure devotee next moment. No. It will take time, because we are in this material world from time immemorial. Prabhupada says that we are conditioned from time immemorial. We don't know how many lifetimes we are here and how many sinful activities we have committed and all. But we can get rid of that sinful activity in one lifetime, in one shot. But it depends upon our surrender, how much we are surrendered. So the degree of surrender actually determine that how much we can actually purify ourselves. So initially we go slowly, like, depend upon that. But my personal opinion is that if we follow 4 regulative principles seriously, we will diminish our future sinful activities very, very smoothly. And whatever leftover karma, whatever we have previous or past lifetimes or whatever, with Hare Krishna mantra will take care. But we are not chanting with this intention. Actually, we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra to engage in the service of the Lord. Prabhupada says that the mantra, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, will actually get rid of you from sinful activities. There's no doubt about it, because His holy name, Namana Makari Bhaudha Nij Sarva Shaktis, Tatra Arpita Nimata Smrana. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that every holy name has immense power. We cannot even count how much power a holy name has. But we are not using that power to get rid of sinful activities. As a devotee, we are not really looking for getting rid of from sinful activities. That is a byproduct. It's already there. We know that. Prabhupada have many times mentioned. It's already there. We don't need to worry about those things. But we should be worried that we should not commit in future. For that, we should follow 4 regulative principle. If we follow 4 regulative principle, our tendency will slowly reduce. And we ultimately come to that stage, we will basically completely get rid of those karmas, those sinful activities, and will not commit anymore. And holy name will basically come without offenses. Because initially our chanting is with offenses, then we come to clearing stage, and then ultimately we come to the stage of pure chanting, right? Where we are not committing any offenses. So we should be very careful not to commit any offense while chanting the holy name of the Lord. We try, but initially we do. Like, I'm committing myself that yes, I chant Hare Krishna, but I do some offenses sometime. But again, I'm going through that clearing stage. Okay, like, or maybe I'm in an offensive stage where I'm chanting, and then maybe slowly I'm moving towards. So ultimately, when we come to the chanting of pure stage, where we are not making any offense in chanting, at that time, you will see the love of Godhead will reveal automatically. And we see that, we experience. It's not that it will going to happen at one day, but slowly, sometimes we experience. Say, when we are doing a kirtan, Prabhupada say that many times we see for a moment or two, like we feel ecstatic, like like we see this bhava coming in and then at that time, that kind of feeling we'll see when we are in the pure stage, constant stage. So I would say like for sinful activity, we try to follow those 4 regulative principles very seriously. And if by any chance we commit sinful activities, if by any chance we commit some sinful activity, don't worry about that, because ultimately holy name will take care. But we should not keep that idea, well, oh, I committed sinful activity, let me chant one more Hare Krishna mantra. No, there's no need. It's already taken care. It's already taken care, but we should be conscious that we should not commit sinful activity. Like I'll refer the pastime that like many times we perform like this Jagai Madhai like pastimes in our temple. And now Nityanand Prabhu's Nityanand Prabhu's appearance day is coming. So at that time we see that when Jagai and Madhai offended Nityanand Prabhu and hit Nityanand Prabhu, so at that time Nityanand Prabhu asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Jagai and Madhai that do not commit more sinful activity and chant Hare Krishna and serve the devotees. By that way, you will ultimately come back to me. You will become my devotee and you will become a Vaishnava. So at that time also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, do not commit any more sinful activity. Means consciously we should not try to commit by following 4 regulative principles strictly. And then if by any chance some here and there some tingling things were there because of some our negligence or something, Krishna knows that we are not perfect. If we are perfect, then we would have like chanting Hare Krishna mantra pure, without offense. But I'm talking about myself. I'm imperfect. I make mistakes, but Krishna will take care. But my intention is that I should not. My main thing is that if I'll make a mistake, I should not say, okay, let me chant 2 more mantras, then get rid of that karma. Next time I'll do again, then I'll chant Hare Krishna mantra again. No, that mentality is need to be given up, because that's an offensive mentality. But mistake will happen, Krishna will take care. Krishna knows us very well. Krishna says Bhagavad Gita, he says, I know past, present, and future of all living entity. I know past, present, and future of every living entity. So nothing is hiding from me. So Krishna knows everything. We should be honest in our heart that Krishna, I'm a sinful person. I'm a conditioned soul. Please take care of me. Krishna will take care of me.
Very helpful. Thank you, Prabhu. I appreciate that you brought the Namaparad and Namabhas into the conversation, because that kind of ties it all together. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu. Anyone else have any other comment or question? Yes.
Kalpesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. And thank you for this class. Very nicely explained. I have one question. Like sometimes we try to think about the philosophy, but there are conflicting principles. And at the same time, when we talk about atonement, about anything, how do we make sure we are not too much torturing our own self with atonement? Because it can people like sometimes it may be like too much torturing to our own self, where the principles are not even certain principle like are there in the society where you have to speak up, and but you don't want to take on you all the time. So how do we really judge the atonement? At the same time, some may find an excuse. Okay, I can do things right now. They know very well that this is a wrong thing to do, but then they say, oh, I will atone for that. Because we have seen that, okay, I will do prayashit or atonement for those. Because that's where the consciousness fails, right? When people very well know while doing it, that, okay, I'm doing it this, but then I will do an atonement for that. Then where is the consciousness in that case? So these are the 2 questions I have. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So regarding atonement, I would just repeat what Sukdev Goswami says, that for atonement, you don't need to be really do a harsh or very strong austerity or any kind of things, because those austerities are not needed. And especially in Kali Yuga, Srila Prabhupada says that our bodies are not that strong. And really, we cannot perform big Vedic sacrifices also. We cannot perform like big activities. So the best atonement, what Sukdev Goswami explained, what Srila Prabhupada recommended, is the chanting of holy name of the Lord. If you knowingly or unknowingly, whatever mistake we have done, we just ask for forgiveness from the Lord and just chant Hare Krishna. See, that's what Sukdev Goswami recommend, best atonement process. Out of 3 atonement process, Jnana, Karma and Bhakti, he said that Bhakti is the best atonement. That's what we explain in the 6th canto. And to the next one is like when people, so your answer to your second question is that when people does some activities by thinking that, well, let me do one more wrong activity and I'll atone it. This is basically happens when they are not really understanding the philosophy very well. So for that, I would recommend, like, first of all, this needs to be stopped. And in order to get strength, how we'll get strength to stop this? By reading Srila Prabhupada's books. When we read Srila Prabhupada's books, it will give us confidence that we don't need to perform wrong activity. See, what is the point of performing that activity? First of all, it is definitely for material gain. See, generally people perform wrong activity or some other activity just to get some material gain or out of enviness. Right? But as a devotee, we are only interested in spiritual gain. We are not interested in material prosperity. We don't want to be envious of others. We don't want to do any wrong harm to other people, because that's an offense. That is detrimental to our devotional life. So the point is that in order to get strength, that not to commit those kind of activity, we should read Srila Prabhupada's books and understand philosophy very well. So when we understand that, then we'll not commit those. Even though we might not be, sometimes we might be looking for some material benefit, but we are not getting. And we might be feeling like, oh, I'm not getting, but other people are getting. Let me try this. Maybe I'll get it right now. But again, like, the goal is not to get material gain. Like, our goal is to basically become devotees in this lifetime. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned that, like, in Srimad Bhagavatam says, even if you want material gain, so suppose even if you want material gain, you don't need to perform wrong activity for that. Akama sarv kamo moksha kamo dhardik tivrena bhakti jit purusham param. Even you want material gain, go to Krishna. Don't perform wrong activity. Like, don't perform sinful activities. Like Dhruv Maharaj, he want a kingdom greater than his great grandfather. This Dhruv Maharaj pastime is very, very important for all of us. At least for me, I see that if you want any material gain, so Dhruv Maharaj would have revolt against his father. He would have fight against his father to get his kingdom, right? But he didn't do that. His mother recommended that you go to Krishna and ask Krishna if you really want it, right? So if you want something, go to Krishna in all circumstances. Akama sar kamo moksha kamo dhardi tivrena bhakti jeta purusham param. Sukdev Goswami himself recommends this. First of all, it's not good to have material desires or material gains or whatever you want, right? But even if you are very inclined to have that, then don't go anywhere. Go to Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukrito arjuna arto jigyasu arto arthati jigyasu jnanita varshavranam. So artha means distressed, artharthi means who want material gain, jigyasu means who inquisitive, and jnani who is knowable. So Krishna says they all come to me. So in any circumstances, we should not incline to do wrong activity. The people do wrong activity and think that they will do atonement later is basically they are not understanding philosophy very well. So they should read Srila Prabhupada's books, they should read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam thoroughly, and then get confidence and then do that. Approach Krishna. Whatever you want, go for approach to Krishna. That's my understanding, and I don't know whether this answers your question, but that's what I recommend you.
Yeah, it helps to get that.
we cannot, but sometimes the situations are tricky. So the situation, in that situation, how to apply this is always a big challenge.
Yes.
And that's where the biggest struggle is, because there may be a conflicting principles at a given time, and now you are stuck in that situation, and now you I think so I liked one of your best suggestion is chant the holy name, because that is the best way to do it, because that way you're not really torturing, and you're pleasing Krishna by saying the name in that situation, and then let that situation govern that, whatever it may be. So I am very happy with that.
No,
answer.
exactly what you're saying is Arjuna was in that situation.
Yes.
He was in dilemma what to do, what not to do, where is dharma, where is dharma. So I would recommend, whenever you have any problem in your life, open Bhagavad Gita and read it. I can guarantee you then you will get the result. Even Mahatma Gandhi said that when I was in a situation where I don't know what to do, what not to do, I just open a Bhagavad Gita, read a verse, all doubts are clear. Bhagavad Gita is especially for this problem, what you're saying. When you're in dilemma, you don't know what to do, what not to do, or sometimes you're inclined to do because you're in a situation. See, situations are given to us according to our previous activities, previous karma. But how we are reacting that situation is our consciousness, right? And that consciousness we have to build. We have to build by understanding Srila Prabhupada's books. Without that, you will not be able to react properly. That's why Arjuna surrendered to Krishna. Give me the direction. So if you are in a situation where you don't know what to do, what not to do, chant Hare Krishna, read Srimad Bhagavad Gita, you will get the answer. You will get the answer. And even if you might think whether you are doing correct or not, just leave it up to Krishna. Just leave it up to Krishna. Do your best and leave it up to Krishna. Krishna will take care.
Yeah. That is also a very good point. Do your best. Because doing the best is always to be judged.
But no, I'm saying do your best according to Shastra. Means like you have to understand Shastra. Suppose if you are confused and you don't know what is right, then you approach a devotee. This is what Arjuna did. Arjuna was confused. He was very knowledgeable. You see the arguments he gave in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and those arguments are very solid arguments. They're not easy. They're very strong argument. He was quoting Shastra. But problem is that when we are basically quoting Shastra, when we are confused, then we quote wrong points. So you always have someone very senior to you who can actually tell you right thing to you. So if you are confused what to do, what not to do, and you're in dilemma, you cross-check your understanding with some senior devotee. So suppose if you like Arjuna, he was ready to make the decision, but then he thought, hey, here's my friend Krishna. Let me ask him what he says. And then he asked Krishna, and Krishna says, you are thinking wrong. This is not the right way. Right? So sometimes like our understanding get confused when situation comes. I agree with you. Even my time with me also, like even though I am in this movement from last 20 years, I'm studying Srila Prabhupada's books every day, but sometimes I get confused what to do, what not to do. Then I say, where should I go? Then I try to go to approach some senior devotee, or I read Srila Prabhupada's books again. Go to Bhagavad Gita again and see whether I can find the answer. Krishna, as a Chaitya Guru, he is a Guru in our heart. He will guide us. He will guide us. And externally, we have Srila Prabhupada's disciples, Srila Prabhupada, all the Vaishnavas, they will guide us. So, like we should approach with whatever we are thinking, just cross-check with a senior devotee, whether I'm thinking correct or not, then you will confirm with that.
Thank you very much. Excellent answer. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
All right. Thank you very much. Any other point or questions anyone have before we end?
It's 9 o'clock. Thank you very much for clarifying all our doubts. Very good class on a Monday morning.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhobhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय.
Jai.
Very good class on a Monday morning.